to have. She's my personal friend, and I consider her family. Assemblymember Gail Pellerin. And if I slip and call her Gail, it's
Call me
everybody
Gail.
knows we're family. I thought it was absolutely critical with everything that's going on with the redistricting that we bring Gail here to speak with us about what that all means, the impact. Um, Jenny's going to talk to us as well about what's the call to action, because we're in this place where this is not a time to sit on the sidelines, right? It's an all, I call it all hands on deck kind of time. And so, for those of you who don't know, I'll share a little bit about Gail. Um, Assemblymember Gail Pellerin was elected to represent the 28th Assembly District in the California State Assembly in November of 2022, and I'll never forget that day. We were excited.
It
In the
was.
State Assembly, Gail serves as chair of the Assembly Elections Committee and as chair of the Selected Committees on California's Mental Health Crisis. She is a member of the Committees on Appropriation, Business and Professions, Natural Resources, and Privacy and Consumer Protections. Prior to serving in the Assembly, Gail served as the chief elections official in Santa Cruz County from, y'all hear this now, 1993 until her retirement in December 2020. I cannot tell you, Gail was a gift being in the county clerk's office for that many decades. She just, she was amazing.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Gail, for serving. Because you really showed up, especially during COVID.
Oh yeah.
You made it happen where everybody was able to vote.
Yep.
You had, voting stations all over the place, the malls outside and parking lots and stuff, and
The boatmobile. That was I loved having the boatmobile.
the vote mobile, which was critical. As county clerk, Gail managed all elections conducted in the county. She served as president of the California Association of Clerk and Election Officials from 2010 to 2012, and served as co-chair of the Secretary of State's Voting Accessibility Advisory Committee. She's a graduate of the California Professional Elections Administrative Credential Program and has taught credential courses on voters with specific needs and budgets. The reason why I really wanted to stress the voting stuff, because at the end of the day, all this comes down back to voting as well, and how absolutely critical it is that people come out to vote. And I'm sure Gail will probably touch on a little bit of that, because that is in her DNA, after working in the county for over 27 years. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gail, and thank you for saying yes and finding the time, because I know you have been very busy. I've been following you, holding the space for you during these last couple of 2 months. That's been very, very challenging. And ask you to bring it home to us about this whole redistricting thing, what it means, how we can step in, what the impact is, and that sort of thing. So thank you so much, Gail.
Thank you for having me. And how much time do I have?
You take as much time as you
Okay,
want.
okay. Well, no, okay. I'll be brief but riveting, let's hope. So yeah, we are having an election on November 4th of 2025. And it's a special election, and it's in direct response to Donald Trump calling the Texas governor and saying that he is entitled to 5 more Republican seats in Texas. And so I was actually in Boston when the Texas legislators were there evading quorum and but doing their work of educating themselves and serving their constituents in Texas. And I stood with 35 other states in support of them and in support of independent redistricting commissions and in opposition to this blatant power grab from our convicted felon president. And make no mistake, we are no longer governing in a democracy. We are governing with an authoritarian fascist federal government that is, we're seeing it on the streets. We're hearing about it from, in the news. Everything that California has fought so hard for healthcare, for education, for climate protections, science. women's rights, immigrant rights, food and services for our most vulnerable. We have witnessed friends, neighbors, people's lives have been destroyed due to this administration. People have died and people will die as a result of the decisions made by this administration. So, I support the Constitution. I have been a lifelong fighter for democracy. And what Texas has done is a blatant power grab to rig the system in favor of one party, getting more Republicans in Congress. So our hands are tied and we can't do anything. Our democracy certainly works best when the rules are fair and consistent, and no matter who is in power. But when you have what we're seeing happening today with this president who has no regard for due process, has no regard for the Constitution, has no regard for the laws of the nation, has no regard for human beings that are not billionaires. We are seeing things unfold that I am shocked that we're seeing in 2025, and it's heart-wrenching. So when they first came to me with this proposal that we're going to level the playing field and California is going to fight back and we're going to redraw our lines. This will be my 5th redistricting I've been through in my lifetime. So, I've seen a lot in those years, and I've seen it when it was the legislature that drew it. I saw it when the courts drew it. I saw it when they nested it. I mean, I've been through many redistrictings. And I was a little hesitant at first. And what I really wanted to make sure was happening is that we would be completely transparent with voters and voters would be involved. So I kind of equated it to I'm a nonviolent person. I don't own a gun. But if somebody broke into my home and attacked my children, attacked me, attacked my sanctuary, my peace, my place where I live, I could grab that kitchen knife and I could stab it in their heart. I would fight. I would not try to reason. I would not try to sit down and have a conversation. I would not propose an alternative. I would fight. And we are seeing this same kind of attack on everything we care about here in California. So I'm ready to fight. And this fight includes, which I think is the most transparent redistricting process I've ever seen, is basically handing voters the maps. The maps are available now on my Assembly Elections website. They're available on the Secretary of State's website. They're going to be printed in the voter information guide. And voters can take this time to review those maps, understand the maps, understand how it's going to impact you. Actually, here in Santa Cruz County, we will not be impacted at all. Our Congress member will stay the same. And in fact, 76% of the lines are the lines that were drawn by the Independent Redistricting Commission. And I was a huge supporter of that Citizens Redistricting Commission. And I believe every state in our nation should have an independent Citizens Redistricting Commission. But when you have states that are throwing out the rules and Texas drew the lines without talking to the voters at all, they just did it. And they did it to favor their Republican Party. So what we've done is we've taken the Citizens Redistricting Commission maps. The folks went through all the testimony and public comment from those commission hearings, which were quite long. And some things that the commission talked about doing but weren't able to do, they were able to do them. And so basically taking into account the key features of a good redistricting plan, number one, the Voting Rights Act, compactness, geography, taking those key issues into account and then adding to it political party registration. And so what's happened is lines in 24% of the state have been shifted and adjusted where a district that had, like an overwhelming number of Democrats, being a really safe blue district, got rid of some of those Democrats and gave it to someone who had needed more Democrats to up the registration. So we actually have commissioners from the Citizens Redistricting Commission that looked at our maps and said, these are great maps. This is well done. There's not the crazy gerrymandering and slicing things away. And what really surprised me is they did not take into account where current Congress members live.
Hmm.
The lines were adjusted with the people in mind and the Voting Rights Act in mind. And so as a result, we are confident that there will be 5 congressional districts, and we're only doing this on the congressional side. State Senate, State Assembly remain intact. And we have found that we were able to adjust the lines to carve out currently 5 Republican districts that we feel we have a really good chance of turning and flipping Democratic. And those districts are Congressional District 1, that's currently held by La Malfa. And I checked before we came on this Zoom to see if there's any opponents filed in that seat yet, and nobody's filed. So if anyone wants to run in Congressional District 1 and you're a Democrat, let us know. But I'm sure there's recruitment going on. I see Bobby Celeste here, so she's really good at building the bench. And then Congressional District 3 is Kevin Kiley's seat, and there is a woman, Heidi Hall, who is looking at running for that seat. Congressional District 22, Valadeo. My colleague in the Assembly, Jasmeet Bains, is running for that seat, and she is phenomenal. And she is full bore out there campaigning, and she needed to stay off the legislation that we had on these proposals, because this is a difficult district. Congressional District 41 is Calvert's, and there's a couple Democrats running in that seat. So we'll see how that one pans out. And then Congressional District 48, ISA, and we have Marnie Van Wilpert, who is filed for that seat. So we have some really good candidates, and we have a really good chance at taking these congressional seats and fighting back with Texas by leveling this playing field, making sure that our 2026 midterm elections are conducted on a level playing field where there's not an unfair advantage for Republicans. So, and this is all in direct response to Donald Trump and his policies. And, there's other GOP states that are looking at doing the same thing. But I haven't heard of any that have been successful yet. So I think we might be okay here. But, like I said, Trump has hurt California families. He's hurt us with tariffs and denied wildfire aid and ordered mass arrests without warrants that we're seeing people ripped from our streets. So we have built a really strong coalition in favor of Proposition 50, of course, led by our Governor, Gavin Newsom. The Yes on 50 coalition includes President Barack Obama, Senator Alex Padilla, Senator Adam Schiff, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, election experts, independent redistricting commissioners, and is endorsed by the California Democratic Party, Planned Parenthood, California veterans, teachers, nurses, and I believe the NAACP has endorsed Proposition 50 as well, if that's correct. So, these are really extraordinary times that require extraordinary action. And we cannot fight back with what's happening in our nation, just sticking with our principles and values and passing good bills, because, we're just not getting anywhere with that. And I know my constituents have been after me and saying, what are you going to do? I get letters, I get emails, I get people who are afraid. We have families afraid to go to work. We have families afraid to go to the grocery store. We have kids that live in fear, kids that have been kidnapped and taken away from their families. These are just real. And then, of course, we have a Supreme Court that just overruled the Los Angeles County decision to say that we can't have these ICE raids, and the Supreme Court overturned that and basically has decided that yes, we can continue to have ICE in our streets that are masked and not identifying themselves and just basically picking people off the streets, and nobody knows where they're going. No one's hearing from these folks. I mean, it is just really shocking that this is happening in the United States of America in 2025. So the other good thing about what we're doing is that we are asking voters. So we did not just do this in a vacuum in the dark in a back room. We are transparent. The maps are out there. We're asking voters, do you want to amend the Constitution by accepting these new district lines? And in the Constitution, we're going to say we support an independent citizens redistricting commission, for all 50 states, and we will return to our independent citizens redistricting commission in 2030 with the next census. So this is temporary. This is not something that's going to go on in perpetuity. And it gives voters, you the voters, the power to decide on this idea. And it reinstates our commitment to fair redistricting. And it is, in my view, fair and proportional to what we're seeing. These are emergency maps that we're offering in response to this power grab. So the other thing that I think is really important to note is that, you probably heard about this in the news, but California is a donor state. So you and I, taxpayers, pay our federal taxes every year, and California, does not get back $83.1 billion of our money that we send to the federal government. We never see back. Where does that money go? It goes to states like Wyoming. It allows them to provide health care. It goes to red states. It goes to other states that are needing more assistance. And so we should have a better voice in Congress. We need to make sure that your taxpayer money is directed for services that we support and believe in. And what we're seeing coming out of this big ugly bill that was passed, I think, is absolutely horrific. And they intentionally did not put that. They put the healthcare cuts that go into effect in 2027 because they're trying to, hide it from everybody. But they are doing these health cuts to our healthcare system. So seniors, so veterans, for persons with disabilities are going to be ripped from getting their health coverage. And in exchange, what they're going to be doing with the money they're saving is giving billionaires a tax break. So this is not my value. I don't think it's your value. And so how do you fight back in an authoritarian fascist government that we find ourselves in? And this is an answer. This is one way where we can have the voter empowerment. As Californians, our voices matter the most. Prop 50 empowers us to push back against this partisan redistricting tactics being used elsewhere and the right-wing efforts in Texas that would silence our Democratic voters. So this is a turnout election. When we turn out, propositions like this will prevail.
Win.
But if people stay home and if people buy the rhetoric, I mean, the people behind the opposition side have already spent millions of dollars on this campaign. They've already, I know I've gotten 2 or 3 mailers already on this. They got TV ads going out. So we're scrambling, raising money, trying to get our message out as well. But I think if people really understand what they're voting for, why they're voting on this, and they do show up and cast their ballot, I believe we will win and we will get this voter's voice back where we need it. Now, just a couple of, where did I put that? I can't find it now. Okay, I'm going to speak from memory. So on the Secretary of State's website, as far as the timeline of where we are, So we're going to start seeing ballots drop around early October, October 6th. And then people, the last day to register to vote, I think, is October 22nd. And oh, maybe here it is. And I don't. And the thing that I want to caution everybody about is that when you have your ballot and you vote your ballot, make sure that you sign the outside envelope. You know, we do have a cure process, but I believe that that might get challenged in court because they've already trying to go after that. Postage is paid, but better than putting it in a mailbox. If you could return it in person, meaning drive to a drop box and put it in a county regulated controlled drop box, or bring it to a vote center, or mail it at least a week before the election. California does have a law that if it's postmarked on election day but received days afterward, that it can still be added to the count if it's a qualified ballot. But I worry, because we've seen this happen before, that the president has tried to manipulate the Postal Service. And we saw it happen in 2020. So we need to deal with this election like this is an existential election. Democracy is on the ballot. Our future tax dollars are on the ballot. And we have to treat that ballot like it is the most valuable thing we have, because in this year, it really is. It is your voice on this proposition. So give it the care, time, attention it needs. Sign that envelope in your handwriting with your name on it. And then what I'm going to do is drive in front of the county building and drop it off there. I know the county will have drop boxes all over the county. Or if you're going to have to mail it because that's your only option, just be sure you mail it a good week before the Tuesday election, so the elections official will get it in time and that we won't be caught up in a lawsuit there. We're also very concerned about the potential for the deploying of Marines or National Guard or security around vote centers, and we anticipate complications around that. So we're working on legislation right now that we're trying to get through this week that would control some of that and make that so that is clearly not allowed. So people can go and vote in an unobstructed location that is not somebody trying to politicize it and somebody not trying to intimidate voters away from voting. So anything you can do to spread the word with your family, your friends, your coworkers, the people that you go to church or synagogue or wherever you go, just all your circles of people in your life, please encourage them to make sure they're registered and pay attention to that ballot when you get it. And I think this might be the only thing on the ballot in Santa Cruz County. There might be a couple of small district elections that are occurring, but just get it voted and get it turned in as soon as you can, because that's going to make all the difference in the world. So I'm happy to take questions or wherever you want to take it from here.
Thank you so much, Gail. I really appreciate that. And, and driving home that urgency I can't stress it enough that this is not a time for people to say, I'm not going to fill out that ballot. I'm asking folks as a Black woman, fill out that ballot.
Yeah.
Right. When I was at my meeting last night, I still attend the 44,000 Black women because that's what keeps me going. And I'm hearing from the women who are in DC, right, who are in Texas, who are not being treated well, right, and they're trying to shut them down, right, trying to get them fired for standing up for what is right. I'm telling y'all, this is so critical, so critical.
Absolutely.
All of us, not just some of us, but for all of us.
You got it.
So I'm gonna open up for some questions, and then
There's a couple in chat I see.
Oh, okay.
So one person asked about what's it mean by temporary? Will it revert to the previous districts? So it will be in effect for 2026, 2028, 2030. 2030 they redistrict. 2032 will be the independent redistricting commission lines. So for the next 3 congressional election cycles, we will keep the lines consistent with what the voters decide. Now, I'm holding out hope, and in my heart, I believe voters are going to pass Prop 50. I think that they're going to understand the connection of why this is so critically important, important for their children, important for their parents, important for their immigrant, neighbors, important
That's
for,
right.
seniors. I mean, it is so critically important that I think that voters will, if we turn out, we will pass Proposition 50. So those lines would be in effect for those 3 election cycles. And then our new independent redistricting commission would be convened through their whole application process, and that new commission would take over and draw the lines for the next 10 years. Okay, next question was, let me see my glasses. What do I think the impact this will have on other states, both red and blue? Yeah, I think that, certainly our red states, Texas has heard, I mean, I'm loving the social media from Governor Newsom. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but I mean, the picture of him shirtless on the bear with the flag, it's great. He is fighting back against this administration and fighting back by basically putting a mirror up and saying, hey, how does this look? This is what you do. And, they have really, I think, worked so hard to destroy our democracy. And when I talk about democracy, I'm not talking about it as some abstract thing. When I think of democracy, I'm looking at you guys. You are democracy. People are the democracy. You are the taxpayers. You are the workers of the state. You make California thrive. You have worked. You have created a state where we are, I think, the 4th or 5th largest economy in the world. I mean, all of you are the democracy that we need to protect and fight for. So, and I think other states are, I think so far only Texas has gone through with the new district lines. I think the other states I've heard from that they've kind of fought it back and it's not happening. So it might just be what we have here. If California can pass Prop 50, hopefully we pick up 5 more Democratic seats, and hopefully Texas doesn't, and maybe we'll be up 1 and we'll be able to turn Congress, and that would mean a huge voice that we would have to basically fight back against bills like HR 1 and fight back against bills that are trying to rip reproductive health from women, and fighting back against bills that are trying to undo rights of our LGBTQ plus community as well. So, so I see someone's hand up. So why don't I go there? Then I'll go back to chat. Does that sound?
Yes, Lonnie.
Okay.
Thank you. And so many people have been saying, where's the Democrats and what are they going to do? And this is like amazing. This is like a thing that we can all participate in. So thank you for leading the charge on this. I have a question that's a little bit sideways related, which is I read Heather Cox Richardson and I'm reading the New York Times. Heather Cox Richardson says almost daily that things are crumbling within the Trump administration, which gives me hope. And New York Times, the Republican farmers are being left holding the bag without the money. Is that, I guess, from your perspective, being more on the inside, is that the case? Do you feel like things are crumbling and they're just fighting harder to retain that fascist control? Or is it just spin that we're reading because that's what I read?
Yeah. Now, I think we're definitely a bit on a roller coaster. I mean, there's some days I feel like, that was a good punch. They're crumbling. We're fighting back. And then they get a win like they did today with the Supreme Court. And then I feel very defeated and that they're winning. So it's a day by day, sometimes, hour by hour, constantly changing environment. So, I was talking to one friend of mine who is a current registrar of voters, and he made a comment that I feel very close to as well, as far as that I just feel like my instincts are all wrong. I'm just not predicting voter behavior like I was able to do before. I was shocked when Trump got elected the first time. I mean, absolutely shocked to the point where they had to drive me home because I collapsed. I mean, really, it just hit me physically. And then when he got elected again this last time around, again, I just was like, this is not the America I know and love. I mean, how can, knowing everything we know about this person, knowing all of the, predatory, activities he's had, his assaults on women, his, the way he treats his people who work for him. And, I mean, the lies, the deceit, I mean, it's just so absolutely despicable. And yet he won, so, yeah, it's pretty frightening. So, but I do feel like I always tell my kids this, the only thing permanent in life is change. So I hold on to that. And I'm really very hopeful in 2026, we're going to take back Congress. And in 2028, we're going to elect a president who supports the Constitution, that follows the law, that's not a convicted felon, that is somebody who is going to steer this country in the direction that we should be looking toward. But it's going to take, unfortunately, I think probably a decade or more to undo some of these hateful, horrific policies that he's enacted. So the other question here was, if U.S. Marines decide to patrol our polling stations, I'm going to be right there in their faces. Thanks, Jane. You go for it. What does this proposition need to pass? A majority. It needs a simple majority. Term limits are critical for SCOTUS. Yeah, I know. I hear them talking about that from time to time. That's a tougher proposition to pursue and win on. Prop 50 is something we could definitely do, and we could win if people get out and vote. Yep.
Thank you.
My housemate's here. Hi, Don.
Jane?
Yeah, actually, I do have a question. Elaine, is your proposition going to be on the same ballot?
Yes, Measure C will be on the ballot. Yes. Those will
Not
be the
November
two.
2025.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Oh yeah, that's like I said. Fridays don't mean nothing right now. Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that you already. Oh, you're on 25. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Shame on me. Okay, see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which is great because
and that's countywide, right?
No, just City of Santa Cruz.
Just City of Santa Cruz. Okay, so City of Santa Cruz will have a different ballot type than people who don't live in the city.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for asking, Jane.
That's good. That will hopefully help with turnout too, because we got to get everybody
exactly.
Out. Yeah.
And that's what we're hoping. I mean, at the end of the day, with all the cuts that are happening, the Fed and the states, because of the decisions that he's making, we can't build homes. We can't keep people. We have to make sure we keep people housed.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We have to prevent people from losing their homes. We have to get people off the street. We just have to. Right. And again, we can't sit on the sidelines, right? Not doing anything, waiting for somebody to come and rescue us, right? No, we have to keep doing what we need to do. And so I'm glad to be in your corner, Gail, where we get to do this work together, hold each other up together.
And Measure A, and in Santa Clara County, they got Measure, I'm sorry, you got Measure C. Santa Clara has Measure A, which is going to help backfill their hospitals. So when you call 911, you actually get an ambulance. And if you go to the emergency room, you're going to actually get a doctor, because there are public hospitals over there that are losing tremendous amount of money under this administration. So they too are piggybacked on this one, or they were planning anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're going to transition over to Jenny. And thank you, Jenny, for taking the time to be with us. And I'll share a brief bio about Jenny. She's a compassionate leader with a demonstrated commitment to fundraising for progressive causes. She is the Director of Development and Operations for Emerge California, the premier training program for Democratic women who want to run for office. And she is also an alumna of the program. She serves as the chair of the DCC, yes. As of January 2025, she was elected. I was very happy. And she also serves as a Watsonville Planning Commissioner. In 2024, Jenny was awarded Santa Cruz County Democrat of the Year for her mobilization of resources to those affected by the Pajaro Valley floods. Jenny and her husband, Robbie, are the proprietors of Watsonville Public House, a brewery in downtown Watsonville. Please go and support them. Known as Def Gen Wreckers, on the track, Jenny plays roller derby with the local Santa Cruz roller derby team. couple of weeks ago, was meeting with Jenny about, all of this work that we do, and it was a Sunday morning, and she had just come from her training, and I said, "Y'all roller skating this early in the morning on a Sunday?" So without further ado, thank you, Jenny, for taking time out of your evening to be here with us to talk to us about call to action and whatever else you want to out tell us to do, because you can tell us what to do too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Elaine, for inviting me. And it's good to be in community with you all this evening. And I always include like the last couple of things on my bio just because it's who I am, but also it's a reminder that we need to be doing things to take care of ourselves. And I play roller derby to take care of myself and to save my soul. I truly believe that. And so that's why it's a part of my bio. And also it's rad and it's fun and I love it. So thank you for indulging me. So yeah, here we are. This proposition is not going to pass itself. So we have work to do. And I think the most important thing that I can and want to tell you tonight is make a commitment to talk about voting on November 4th in every single conversation you have with every single person from now until November 4th. We just need to talk about voting in the election until we're sick of it, because we won't actually get to that point. But we all know that we're tired, we're exhausted, we are constantly just trying to keep up with the news cycle. And so things like voting in an off-year election kind of fall lower down on the priority list. And so that puts us from a starting position that's like kind of behind. So start having those conversations now. Just ask your friends, ask your family, ask your neighbors. Do you know about Prop 50? Do you know that there's election? And then what's your plan to vote? I can tell you that in our county, the Central Committee is going to be organizing precinct walking throughout the county. I have reached out to many of our coalition partners, but also allied groups, and they are coordinating some canvassing as well, and we can work with them. So I actually have two canvases opportunities that I'll drop in the chat. One is for Santa Cruz, and it's with our allied partners Swing Left. They have dates that they are organized and they're going out, and they are happy to have us share what they're doing to get more volunteers. So if that's something that you want to do, please commit to as many hours or shifts that you're willing to do it. We also are doing precinct walking in Watsonville, which is where I live in my community. Indivisible Pajaro Valley actually came to me and said, "We want to help you do walking in Watsonville. Let us know what you need." And I was like, "Yes, thank you. Yes, I will." So I will drop that link as well. And then there is the state party is organizing phone banking basically every day, all day. And you phone bank, it's super easy. Like from your house, you can do it for an hour. You can do it for a couple hours. There's a platform app that gives you everything from the script to it. It's an actual dialer. So you basically just hit like start and then it dials someone and you read the script and this phone banking is targeted to those areas that where the districts would change. And it's targeted phone banking, telling Democrats, this is why this is important, because this could change your district and your representation, and you want this and should be in favor of it. And so if phone banking is something that you like, please sign up for those shifts as well. And then the final thing that I'll share was, it's just a personal story, but it's about why like Prop 50 truly like matters. So my husband and I have this brewery in Watsonville, and it's on Main Street. It's across from Jalisco Restaurant, if you're familiar with that area. And we use our space as a community meeting space. And yesterday, YAR, the Your Allied Rapid Response group, had a private training, and it ended up actually being like a 4-county area training. So we had people from Santa Clara County, Monterey, Santa Cruz, and San Benito County. They had a training on setting up community patrols in your neighborhood and really caring for your neighbors on that very basic and also hyper vigilant level of going out in groups, looking for ICE, looking for suspicious activity, doing it every single day, monitoring your community and taking care of your neighbors. And the women who led the training, one was from San Diego and one was from LA, and they both had experience, like face-to-face experience with ICE or so-called ICE agents who were literally kidnapping people. And so they were training our community, people in our community, like how to set up these patrols. And so this horrible, like unimaginable set of circumstances that we know is very real is also here. And this to me, like the fact that we are having these trainings and we were talking about setting up this level of like neighborhood like patrol and everything speaks to why we need to get people to vote for Prop 50 so that we have a fighting chance to stop this administration from literally continuing to destroy democracy as we know it. Oh, cool. Someone put all the links in the chat for me. So I've been sitting heavy with like kind of just the reality of what happened in my brewery space yesterday, which was beautiful and also heartbreaking. And I'm so glad that we were able to do it, and also like deeply like horrified that it's true. And it was an opportunity for me to recommit to my own, this is why I'm going to be walking neighborhoods for Prop 50 in October. And this is why I need to talk to all of the groups like you all, and encourage you all to go out there and tell people to vote, tell them to vote yes on Prop 50. And then ask them to ask 5 of their friends to do it as well. So thank you. Thank you for all the work that you're going to do. Commit to talking about voting. Feel free to reach out to me at any time, and I will get you some walk pieces, or I'll get you connected.
Thank you,
Cool.
Jenny.
And yes, Gail, thanks for dropping all the links
Mhm.
in the chat.
It's
And
weird. It only
yeah.
took the first part of the link. I think you might have to copy and paste it to get the
Mhm.
case of the event and everything. Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah, this is great. So we all got our marching orders. Does anybody have any other questions for Gail or Jenny? Well, Gail, thank you. I know your schedule, trust me. I feel like I'm close cousins with her scheduler. 'Cause we do a lot of collaborating together, but I want to thank you for taking the time tonight to speak
Thank
with
you for
us.
having me.
Of course, I know what you're doing in Sacramento. I text you, let you know I'm holding you up
Thank you.
when they're acting out. We got you here in Santa Cruz County the same way you got us. Jenny, the same. Stepping into the leadership role as the chair of the DCC. You're a mover and a shaker. And don't be shy. Send us an email. Let us know what we need to do, because I agree with you. We have to continually talk about getting people to the polls, right? Making sure, like reminds me of Gail during COVID. If anybody needs a ride, we'll get people to those polls, because we have to get that yes on 50. And I'm gonna throw on my yes on Measure C too while we're at it.
Yeah.
Since that would be the two things on the
Two
ballot.
yeses.
Two yeses.
Yes.
Two yeses.
And Jenny has a really cute graphic. I tried to put it in the chat, but maybe you could email it to Elaine and she can get it out to everybody.
Oh, sure. My Protect Democracy bear.
Oh.
My links. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, not yet. Okay. Okay.
Did she go grab something?
No, the dog. He was.
Oh, the
trying-
dog. Uh-huh.
Okay, here we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. There's
Okay.
nothing.
Oh, there's the dog.
Oh,
So we have about 10 minutes. I'll give you your evening back to grab dinner, which is what we're about to do. Feel free if you have any questions. Don't hesitate to email myself or Jane. Email the branch. We have to do this work together. As it was spoken before, that I think the word was unity that Jimmy Panetta used earlier today, and we have to. This has to pass. I was looking online, and the NAACP National does support Prop 50, and and it also gave a huge shout out to California for the hard work that we are doing to make sure that this doesn't happen here, because of course it impacts a lot of Black and brown people. And so let's keep up the great work, stay connected, reach out. We appreciate your help in getting people to the polls, getting that yes, and getting those wins. And with that, have a great evening. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jane, and everyone for coming out. Have a blessed evening and stay safe.